Samuel and Mary Thompson gave everything to the three children they adopted: food, love, and a chance at a better life. But when age and poverty caught up with them, the kids turned their backs, leaving the old couple to rot on a collapsing farm. For years, Samuel and Mary suffered in silence until one day, buried in the dust of their attic, Samuel uncovered a chest that would change everything. Soon the children returned, expecting riches. But what awaited them inside that farmhouse was nothing like they imagined. Before we go any further, if this is your first time watching one of our videos, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us bring you even more powerful stories. Stick with us till the very end. And if this story moves you, drop your thoughts in the comments and share it with a friend. Now, let's begin. The summer. Air hung thick over the Thompson farm, the kind of heat that pressed on your skin and made every breath feel heavy. Samuel Thompson, shoulders bent from years of labor, sat on the porch with his hands resting on his knees. His wife, Mary, shuffled beside him, wrapping an old knitted shawl tighter around her shoulders, even though the sun was still high. Age had slowed them both, but their eyes, deep, warm, and proud, still carried the story of sacrifices no one seemed to remember. They hadn't been born into wealth, not even comfort. But when the chance came to adopt 3 children, Ethan, Clara, and James, they didn't hesitate. Those children became their world. They carried them on tired backs, fed them from near-empty plates, and scraped pennies together so the kids would have shoes, books, and a shot at something better. But now those children were grown, and what Samuel and Mary thought would be their reward, companionship in old age, turned into silence, distance, and disdain. One evening, Mary stood by the wooden table in their kitchen, watching as Clara stuffed expensive clothes into a suitcase. Ethan leaned against the wall, his face twisted with irritation. "This place is nothing but dirt and dust," he muttered. "We can't live like this anymore." James, the youngest, laughed, brushing past his mother without a glance. "You think we're staying stuck here? Please, we've got lives to live." Mary's lips trembled. She reached out, touching Clara's sleeve gently, her voice breaking. "We gave you everything we had. Every drop of sweat was for you. How can you turn your backs on us now?" But Clara didn't meet her eyes. She zipped her suitcase and pulled away. Neighbors later said they saw the 3 children walking down the dirt road that night, leaving the farm behind without looking back once. Samuel stood in the doorway, watching the dust from their children's departure settle into the earth. His calloused hand tightened around the frame, but he said nothing. Beside him, Mary sank slowly into a chair, her breath shallow, as if every step those children took away was pulling life from her chest. The farmhouse creaked under the night wind, empty in a way it had never been before. For the first time in decades, the Thompsons were truly alone. The seasons rolled on, and sorrow clung to the land. The garden was swallowed by weeds, the barn sagged, and the fields carried nothing but silence. Samuel rose before dawn every day, not because there was work to do, but because habit kept him alive. Mary grew weaker. Her hands trembled when she tried to lift even a cup of water. Neighbors pitied her, whispering, "Such a shame." They raised those kids like their own, and see how they've repaid them. The children never called. They never wrote. Samuel only heard of them through town gossip. Ethan in the city wearing suits, Clara flaunting vacation pictures, James working some office job he never mentioned to his parents. But destiny wasn't done with them yet. One stormy evening, while patching a leak in the attic roof, Samuel's hand brushed against a loose plank. Behind it, hidden in the dust, was an old wooden chest. It was heavier than he expected, its brass latch green with age. When he opened it, his breath caught. Inside lay deeds, letters, and papers proving the land was worth millions in mineral rights. For a moment, Samuel pressed the papers to his chest, tears streaming down his face. All those years of suffering, mocked as poor farmers, when all along, the truth had been hidden above their heads. But here's where fate added a twist. Among the papers was also a sealed letter, addressed not to Samuel, but to the rightful inheritors. It was written decades ago by Samuel's grandfather. The message read, "This land is blessed, but it will curse anyone who takes it for greed. Only those who honor sacrifice and loyalty will see its true wealth. To the ungrateful, it will turn to dust." When the children eventually returned, Ethan in a sleek car, Clara in expensive clothes, James with hollow charm, their greed was obvious. They laughed, hugged, and spoke of family, but their eyes never left the chest of papers. But Samuel and Mary were ready. At the meeting with the lawyer, when the children leaned in eagerly, expecting inheritance, the truth unfolded. The land and mineral rights worth millions were placed into a charitable trust, funding struggling farmers, adoption centers, and scholarships. Not one penny went to Ethan, Clara, or James. And as they argued, cursed, and stormed out, a sudden storm rolled in, flooding the dusty fields with long-awaited rain, the first real rain in years. Neighbors stood in awe. Some whispered it was coincidence. Others murmured, "No, the land chose." That night, Samuel and Mary sat on the porch, hand in hand, watching the rain wash away years of sorrow. For the first time in decades, the farm seemed alive again. They had lost their children but gained something greater, a legacy of love, sacrifice, and justice that no betrayal could erase. Gratitude costs nothing, but it can change everything. Betrayal may wound, but justice always finds its way home.